Hi, and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Now, I'm happy to end this show on a very high note, a high five note. We'll be talking with the High Five Foundation, and to talk about that, we have Jeremiah Stroop. You are a pop quiz reporter and field producer. And Wayne Pelagowski, you are the creator and host of High Five television show. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, now High Five was created in the 90s, is that correct?
93.
93.
Yeah.
Wayne, tell me a little bit about this. That wasn't your first career, so tell me about what you were doing before and why.
In broadcasting?
Yes, yes.
All right, well, I worked at Coin TV for about 16 years as the consumer reporter. I love television news, I love being a reporter, I love going out there and save people money. But the longer that I was there at Channel 6, the more I start seeing stories on kids that were always in trouble. Now, majority of kids are not in trouble. They're just kids like yours and mine that are trying to do a good job, and they toe the line, but they don't get in ever on TV.
Right, you only hear about the bad ones.
So I left television, and I wanted to create a show that recognizes all the good kids out there, and that's what High Five is all about. It's about kids working in teams, not gangs.
Okay, good. And that show was on for how long?
Well, we were on almost 20 years straight, maybe 17 or 18 years. But we've even had the show airing in China.
Wow.
Via the satellite. Stations pick it up all around the world. So we're an international commodity.
That's pretty impressive. But now, Jeremiah, how did you get involved with this?
You know, it's so funny. I was actually waiting tables at the time. This is right before some of my online companies took off, and I was able to leave my day job. And Wayne and I connected because I used to be a teen reporter on Channel 2, and I recognized Wayne from the High Five Challenge TV game show, and I said, oh my gosh. And
we should connect. We're both TV stars.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, as I'm taking his order. Yeah. But, you know, he was gracious and kind as he always is, and you know, has always included people in his vision of this amazing TV broadcast that was more than entertainment. It was about education and empowering kids. And so I got involved as an associate kind of producer for a while and a youth wrangler, kind of coordinating with some of the youth. And then that parlayed into me becoming the show's co-host and announcer, which has been a great journey. So the show's been on hiatus, kind of off and on for the last couple of years, but again, still broadcasting on the internet and around the globe. But we're really excited for the next chapter for High Five.
So tell me about the next chapter. You're relaunching the High Five show.
We are, and we're going to actually, instead of shooting our shows in a studio, we're going to actually go out on location.
Oh, okay.
So we may shoot them in schools at the student body assembly.
Oh,
and we've always had two teams competing against each other on the show. Now we're going to only have one team at a time. And you think, well, how's that work? What do they compete against?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, they'll compete against the clock. So what that means is that we'll start with, say, this is still in the working stages, but say we start each team with 2,000 seconds. And I ask a question, and as soon as I ask it, the clock starts ticking. And the quicker they can answer the question, the more the clock stops. And after maybe 20 or 30 questions, how many seconds they have left, that'll determine their score. And then we'll do another school the same way, and we may slip 2 or 3 into the show per week.
Right.
And then at the end of the season, whichever teams had the most point totals will go into a playoff round.
Oh, fun. Oh, this sounds like fun.
And one other thing I want to make sure that I wanted to mention is that now, the kids have always been the stars of the show, but now we're going to throw in a couple elders, 55 or older, or they don't have to be 55, but you know, elders and adults. And they're going to be part of the team. And they're going to actually work with the kids and trying to answer the questions. So the questions are going to be much more varied, much more, you know, especially with music. I asked a question years ago about Roy Orbison, and the kids said, afterwards, nobody rang in. They said, "Who's Roy Orbison?" I thought, "Wow, what a generation gap."
What they're missing out on.
That's
too.
right.
Isn't that right?
But they heard the song
and
"Pretty
then they
Woman."
Knew, yeah, and they knew. Of course they knew. Yeah, they just
Mm-hmm.
didn't put the name with it. So, what's the timeline for this?
Go ahead.
Well, early 2016, we're actually going to be working on relaunching the show, and there's so many different elements to the show that we're actually going to have some segments we're going to be releasing here sooner versus later.
Okay.
Partnering with great organizations like MetroEast, which is all about the community we've served for so many years.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have opportunities to maybe take a camera crew out and say, hey, maybe we'll do our pop quiz segment, which we'll obviously talk more about, or maybe we'll do a PSA, because we've done some great student-produced PSAs in the past as well.
Super.
And we did bring a clip with some insights into what we're going to create next for High Five.
Well, why don't we just take a look at that now and get a better feel for High Five.
Absolutely.
All right.
Our kids deserve nothing less than that. Now, we're going in a different direction with High Five. High Five is coming to you. We want to bring High Five into malls, into schools, into restaurants. We want to bring the show to the kids. Here we go with topography. This is the largest and most common of British ferns.
The supergiant massive fern. What? It's the biggest fern.
Bracket. You're correct. All right. Thanks, Evan.
You know, I met Wayne, the creator of High Five, almost a decade ago. I grew up watching the High Five Challenge TV game show, and meeting Wayne was exciting and inspiring. Ultimately, I got the chance to become an assistant producer with the show, helping wrangle some of the youth, and eventually became the show's co-host and announcer. You know, it's been an honor to be a part of the High Five Challenge. It's done some really great work over the last couple decades, but I truly believe it's just getting started.
Everybody wins on High Five. Nobody loses, including our sponsors, our viewers at home, especially the kids that appear on High Five.
We have recognized some really great youth and individuals from throughout the community. Not just high school students, but Boy Scout troops, colleges, even the military have been on the High Five TV game show. It's great to recognize and reward people doing positive things throughout the Pacific Northwest. But of course, our vision for High Five is a lot bigger, taking it online with our new web series and expanding the TV broadcast across the globe. It takes a lot to produce a television show, especially a game show that's exciting and interactive. It's going to require all kinds of brand new resources, things like audio equipment, lighting, cameras, crew, and a brand new mobile set so we can bring High Five to you. So your support is key to making the High Five Challenge better than ever before.
Well, we have 20 years under our belt, and we're looking for another 20 years.
So join us as we take the High Five Challenge higher than ever before.
Thank you for your support of the High Five Challenge.
Nice, nice.
Thanks.
I like that.
Thank
That
you.
was good. So what do you think is the most important thing to the kids that appear on the shows? What do they get out of it? I mean, they're recognized, but what's...
Well, actually, you know, I've talked to a few kids, and they say once the show airs, they come back to school on Monday, and they walk down the hall, and their kids say, "Hey, Monica, I saw you on TV. Man, you're cool."
You know what? It takes the kids that are sometimes not appreciated because they're the brainiacs or
Right.
the smartest kids because they're not the sports heroes or whatever, but that puts them in the spotlight.
But
It's
we
sad.
have on High Five, we have a lot of brains, and we also have a lot of athletes on the school
Yeah.
on the
Well, they
shows
get to
too.
flex those muscles instead.
That's right.
Their
Yeah.
mental muscle. Yeah, it's surprising. There's some, you know, top athletes who also are on the knowledge teams and the quiz teams that appear on High Five in the past. And they've missed even some of their top sporting events so they can be on TV.
Yeah,
with us.
Wow.
we even had a quarterback that was supposed to be, he had a choice of either being on High Five taping that Friday night or
Or the game.
The big
quarterbacking the game.
Wow.
He chose High Five. So we don't tape on Friday nights anymore because we don't want to
Right.
create that.
But that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good to have, as you mentioned, folks that are, you know, using their mind muscle, using their savvy and their intelligence and getting recognized. You know, they're not going to get a trophy or a ribbon from their athletic prowess potentially, maybe ever, but to be able to say, hey, you're smart, you're educating yourself, you're taking school seriously, that's what High Five is all about, celebrating those kids and giving them their 15 minutes of fame.
It makes a big impact on their lives because some kids have been on like maybe 10 or 15 years ago, so they're raising their own kids, and yet they'll call me up or email me saying, gee, I don't have a copy of that show. Could I want to show my kids who I was. I was cool in high school. And so we get lots of requests for these shows from the past, and we have a few of them around, but not a lot, unfortunately.
I bet that, you know, well, now with everything going on the internet, you'll be able to have these shows and you'll be able to let everyone see
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
And this will
Once
make
we're
it-
on the internet, High Five, you know, we want to create a platform where kids from throughout the United States can compete on High Five. I don't know how we're going to do that yet, but that's our
We'll
dream.
figure it out. Yeah.
Via Skype or, you know, video
Skype.
chat, they'll be able to participate with the show as well. And then if we have a mobile application, people can play along while they're watching the show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So we're looking forward to taking it to the next stage, if you
Well,
will.
just the fact that you can promote that being smart and using your brain is cool. You know,
It is.
just because it is, and a lot of kids don't see it that way. And I think that's really important for kids to be able to look and say, wow, look at these guys, you know, maybe I should try a little harder. Maybe I should, you know, plug into my school books a little more, and maybe someday I could be on High Five too.
I've had many parents come up to me after we've taped the show and they say, you know, their son or daughter it broke them out of their shell. They were sort of kind of quiet, and
Yeah.
they didn't fit in, and all of a sudden they became part of a team, a fun team, and it made a big difference in their lives.
I'm sure that it did. I think it would make a huge difference. What kind of a kid were you in school?
Well, I was out there for sure. I mean, I started doing teen reports for Channel 2 when I was 16. So
you got
I was involved
early,
in arts and media pretty early on. But you know, not a lot of kids get that opportunity. That was the only teen reporter in the entire state. So to have the chance to have all these kids, we've had 8,000 young people on the show since we started back in 1993. Really get their recognition has been so awesome. We just had a board meeting for the High Five Foundation, which is the nonprofit that supports the High Five TV game show. And we're just really excited for what 2016 is going to bring.
So what you mentioned here on that short video clip that we saw about all the things that you need. So if somebody wants to support you, whether it's financially or as a volunteer, do you need volunteers? And what's the best way to support you financially?
A little bit of everything. What you just said is what we could use.
And what's the best way to get in contact with you to be able to do that?
My email, of course, see, I'm email type, and it's Wayne at High, H-I-G-H, and then I put a dash or a hyphen, and then FIVE.com. Okay. And if anybody wants to find out more about what we've been talking about, I'd be happy to correspond back and see where it goes.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
You never know how you might be able to help. And yeah, it could be resources, could be businesses that want to support the foundation and continue the great work we're doing.
Maybe they can sponsor in some way.
Absolutely.
Sure. Or a kid says, hey, I want our school to be on.
There you go.
Because we have, you know, dozens of high schools, and they all want to be on High Five, and we try to accommodate as many as we can every year.
What will the geographical area be that you'll be covering to start out?
Mostly Oregon and Washington, from Seattle down all the way to Medford, all the way up the coast, out to Eastern Oregon.
Yep, that's our
ultimately, we'd like to say all 50 states.
That would be America's High Five Challenge.
The America's High Five Challenge.
There you go.
And I think it's great to think about looking at platforms like community media as an incubator, right? You have programs for young people and kids that they want to do a short film or produce their own TV show. Well, who's to say they don't win an Academy Award down the road?
That's right. We've had people leave from here and they're working, you know, they're doing audio in Las Vegas, or they're producing their own films. And,
yeah, we have one of our contestants from 1997, way back in 1997, called me up. And he says, I'm working on a company back here in New York. You may have heard of them, MTV. And he was on High Five back in 1997, and it launched his career with MTV, and now he's head of promotions.
Wow, pretty impressive.
That's what High Five's about. That's obviously what community media is all about, providing an incubator or a platform. And isn't it great to be able to use those local resources? You know, sometimes folks don't take local community media seriously, but the reality is, you guys have state-of-the-art equipment, really amazing resources, the same quality of a lot of the local TV stations, and to use those resources to launch someone's career or their new TV show or other opportunities for great people in the community is really what it's all about.
And I think I see a lot of passion with all the community stations around.
I think so too.
Crews.
I appreciate
it's
that.
A love.
That was a beautiful plug for us, and I appreciate that. And we'll do everything we can to help support the High Five Foundation and see that it is just
really
as successful as it was before and even more.
Yeah.
So we are out of time.
Oh,
I thank you both. I know. I have a feeling we could talk for a really long time here.
Yeah.
Wayne can.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Monica.
You bet.
Thank you.
And if you want to find out more about the High Five Foundation, Wayne told you who you can email and how to get that information. Do watch for it in 2016. It's going to be an exciting moment in television here locally in the Portland metro area and beyond. Don't go away.
High five.
Thanks, Wayne. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera, one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera, two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera, three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.